Today, today, meeting.
Just one.
Hello, boss.
Yeah.
Television. Sebab pain. So you can create the group, then you can add me. You have my number, right? Yeah. Okay. Add me. I think I might try one or two.
So just create one for both small.
Yes. Just create radio and television.
It's enough. Okay.
Make the rice on there.
Alright. Switch on. How are we? So just two of you. Ruth, which year now? Okay.
Condition dream that he was doing.
Well, she's still doing the work. What is it?
Going to sleep 50 seconds.
Who else was there?
Back to 50 seconds.
I'll just work the phone on and that's No, whatever you do at that level, that's fine. It's okay. Yeah. What we need is just the mentorship aspect, which doesn't need to be lost. Yeah, but it's fine. Whatever you do, you are in charge now. No, okay. Yeah. Yes, you can do it. Yes, madam. How's this going? Yeah. Yeah. Which one are you comfortable with? Doing the 3 hour continuous or you do 12? What? Just work it out and then make sure it's to your advantage. Otherwise, have you been in class before? This class? No. Any materials given to you for preparation? Alright. You need room for study preparation. Confunda Raja, research and process center. It's only that the tables are not yet set, but you have discussed or there are those schedules have been just make sure that you're as comfortable as possible. No, Friday is going away from the most of it. All right. Are we using the same group?
I just change the subject.
History, English, Arabic?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, still there.
Philosophy of nutrition.
That's what you're learning. No, last year was philosophical foundations of early childhood education. So history and philosophy, they are a little bit kind of similar.
Yeah.
You have seen it?
Yeah.
So it will not be a big deal. I know. You shouldn't hate philosophy. Alright, so as we are waiting for others, so the bus does not wait for people unless it's so desperate. Our course is History and Philosophy of Early Childhood Education. What is it that we want to understand when we talk about history and philosophy? History deals with memory, the memory. Philosophy deals with analysis, critical thinking, analyzing things, examining things. Where are we analyzing these things from early childhood? So we are going to give the history of early childhood and the philosophy behind early childhood education. Okay? In our main objective, we look at explaining the nature and meaning of philosophy. Explaining the nature and meaning of philosophy, and then 2, to define pre-primary or early childhood education. 3, to outline the key features in the history of formal education in Malawi. Outlining the key features in the history of formal education in Malawi, and then explaining the purpose of pre-primary education. Okay. We also have to elaborate the leading philosophical foundations that contribute to the development of early childhood. My friend is so much afraid to start dealing with the philosophers and their theories. Yeah, so confusing. And then we have to demonstrate an understanding of the interrelated national policies that pertain to early childhood education in Malawi. They are guiding principles that talk about the importance of the child being educated. What policies defend, support early childhood? So you could be talking about education for all, policies that talk about human rights for children, child protection rights, and all those. We'll talk about them and examine them. That's where the aspect of philosophy is coming in. Okay? This is why. Freddy Pity. All the way from Kasuma.
Yeah.
Okay. You are staying with him now.
Yeah.
Full time.
I can say full time now, but he temporary.
You just want to get the feel and go online.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Good. This one is she's got what?
Yes.
What is it?
Important.
What is that? Okay. I thought you didn't know that. Yes. So basically, what I do want the student to understand is the general concept of philosophy, not to fear it. What is philosophy? According to our topic here, we're going to define and explain philosophy and its concepts. Okay? Do we understand what we are dealing with? History and philosophy of early childhood education. Then what is history? It deals with memory, it deals with remembrance. And philosophy deals with critical thinking, critical reasoning, analysis, examination, evaluation, dealing with valid arguments in order to come up with the right conclusions. When we are in a village setup, we normally see that Mr. P, Mr. Gon is the right person to be called for this arbitration or for this meeting where we have to sort out this land dispute. What are the traits that we see in those people that will make us to say, I think being in this committee, Mr. Band, it's because of their analytical thinking, their critical thinking, which makes us, in most cases, to come up with proper or good judgment without any bias. Philosophy. Lawyers use philosophy in most cases to win cases, even for people who are criminals. That you look at a person, look at his face, he is a criminal. And then a lawyer will stand and say, Your Honor, with all due respect and looking at my client here, who looks very innocent. Now you look at the innocent criminal. But it's all about the convincing language. Philosophy. It makes me to stand out to convince someone that you did this even if you did not do it. That is using philosophy negatively. But we use philosophy positively in early childhood to establish what we can do to help the little children to grow up into useful adults. How? We go beyond the child. We think beyond the child so that we can help beyond what the child is. That tomorrow it becomes the Chief Justice of tomorrow, becomes the director of tomorrow, the bank manager of tomorrow, the president of tomorrow. We would have said, yes, we contributed to this person's upbringing. Philosophically, because we helped to shape the way of thinking and behaving. So philosophy, in simple terms, is the study of general and fundamental problems. Fundamental problems, we're talking about problems that are key concerning matters of existence. Knowledge, truth, beauty, law, justice, validity, mind, and language. Philosophy is the study of general and fundamental problems concerning matters of existence. The matters of knowledge, matters of truth. When I concentrate on writing because the same things will be given. So what I want is your understanding. Are we moving together? Not to go back and put another hand back and then I'm just talking to myself. Of course, where need be jot down important words. It's basically the question of existence. Do I exist? Does the little child exist? For what purpose? What does this child want to achieve at the end of this? As a social worker, early childhood. As a community development officer, who is specializing in child upbringing, in child advocacy, do I see the beauty in this child? That means I am thinking, seeing through the child, and then get that positive aspect out of this child who seems to be mystical. Useless, an orphan child, vulnerable child, very poor child. Huh? That one with a single parent, that one whose parents have abandoned, is in my class, is in my orphanage. How do you treat those kids? There are the children who have been abused, sexually, emotionally. How do you help those children? History and philosophy of education. Dig the history. And get that case as a study. Bring the aspect of law in order so that justice can take its course. So we are the defenders of these children somehow. And we need to know the laws, the regulations that pertain to child upbringing. So philosophy is a rational and critical enterprise that tries to answer the fundamental questions through an intensive application of reasoning to draw an analysis and comparisons and evaluations. Personally, this is what lawyers do, right? We are lawyers for this case. For you to become the best lawyer, you need to become a philosopher. Very good and appealing. You need to become the best philosopher. That philosopher. Why? Because philosophy helps one to have a proper understanding of the world. Critical thinker. It makes you to analyze things, to make comparisons, to evaluate, to examine them, so that your conclusion is not biased. Philosophy involves reason. It involves a rational criticism, not a biased criticism. It involves examination and analysis, as I said. Okay? So philosophy is not an elusive, as often it is thought to be. Nor is it remote from our various problems. Philosophy is unanimously agreed that the best way to learn and understand philosophy is to philosophize. What is to philosophize? It is to engage in a strenuous activity of thought, provoking issues. When a child is born and a child starts to grow up and ask questions, Mommy, Daddy, where did I come from? The child has started to philosophize. Because philosophy begins with wonder. And so by nature, we say every person is a philosopher because at a certain point, he wonders, she wonders, he has wondered, he wonders, she wonders. I see an airplane, a very big one, flying in the sky. as a young child, Daddy, Mommy, see a big bear. Look, how is this big bear flying? In the mind of this little one, it is a big bird. Because he or she has seen birds flying every day. But that particular one has struck my mind. Wonder. Okay? Now, Socrates once stated that wonder is a city of a philosopher, and philosophy begins with wonder. Socrates is one of the philosophers, very important, great philosophers. And so it is true that most of us may not have a clear knowledge about the history, nature, and language, or issues of philosophy, because philosophy is broad. It is wide. And what you get from here is just a part of it. Otherwise, if you would get the whole chunk, we would be having arguments in this space. You finish 1 year with all the components of philosophy, you're not even getting what I'm saying. You'll not be getting what I'm saying. But that is the mind of what? An artisan philosopher. Because a real philosopher now will see sense in what I'm saying and argue in line with that. What happens is when we learn philosophy in the first year, we become too argumentative. Too argumentative because we are trying to understand everything. But as time goes by, we learn to argue in line with the argument. And so, I will have another philosophy. When the 3rd years, 7th, 3rd years, they will say, even if he or she is arguing, you are arguing out of point, my friend. So there's no need for me to waste my time to argue with you. When I am feeling convinced, no, this is out of point. So it is also possible for a lawyer in court to say, Your Honor, I think my friend here is arguing out of the point and the discussion. So his argument is invalid. Philosophy uses language as the most powerful tool to argue. Language. It is possible that you can be a very good lawyer with good points, but if you are not good at language argument, you will lose the case. Because language argument is the one which has got the power to convince. We call it rhetoric. Please now, spare me. Okay? Now, one interesting thing is that we all reflect in our own way about issues. Okay? That matter to us most. And we all have touched and moved by the feeling of wonder from which all philosophers derive. Okay? All right. My definition of philosophy comes from the Greek word philo. Philo means love. Sophia means wisdom. Therefore, philosophy is the love of wisdom. Does that make sense? What is wisdom? Okay? Love of wisdom. Who is a wise person? What does it mean to be wise? You ask yourself those questions now as it was. Wisdom. What is wisdom? Okay. What is to be wise? How does a person become wise? If at all? So etymologically, etymology means the root of the word, or where the word is coming from or originating from. Etymology. Philosophy etymologically comes from the two Greek words, philo and sophia, or Latin philos, sophos, Greek, still Latin philo, sophia, as love of wisdom. The ancient Greek thinker Pythagoras was the first to use the word philosopher to call a person who clearly shows a marked curiosity in the things he experiences. Ever heard of Pythagoras' theorem in mathematics?
Yes.
Yes. Everything that we learn comes from the foundation of philosophy. So even mathematics is philosophical in nature. Pythagoras was a very great philosopher. So those who want to study mathematics will know him on the aspect of him being a mathematician. Does anyone remember what Pythagoras invented? His theorem? We have forgotten. What makes it to be Pythagoras' theorem? We'll go and study that. That's what has contributed greatly into the world of mathematics today. Anyone who raises questions such as, does God exist? What is reality? What is the ultimate source of being? What is knowledge? What does it mean to know? How do we come to know? And what is value? All these show an aspect of curiosity, and all these people can be called philosophers. What does it mean, being? What does it mean, becoming? During my first years of philosophy, one of our great professors would demonstrate the concept of being and becoming by one of the oldest philosophers, Parmenides and Heraclitus, who had their own theories. Parmenides believed in being as reality. Heraclitus believed in becoming as the real truth of everything that exists. And so they are struggling to defend that. Whole thing. Nothing changes. Everything is ever the same. When you move this bag is, according to Parmenides, this bag is, when I move it, I bring it here, this bag is where it is now. I want to So it is what it is. It is where it is. Meanwhile, Heraclitus says, I believe in the concept of becoming. Because when it was here, we said it is here. But when I move it to this place, I will say it was there, now it has moved. It is here. So there has been a process of transfer and movement. Which means the body that was here is here now. So it has become at its position. Hello?
Yeah.
Is this making sense?
Yeah.
It's not, right? I know. Okay. I will move. Here, yeah? Okay? Here I am. I'm standing. Imagine that this is a bucket of water. Okay? If I remove my leg, and step it again, and step on it again, I will step on this water. This particular water. Hello? Okay, let me leave that. I may confuse you. Jojo. Ruth. But anyone who asks the question, does God exist? Where is God? Where did I come from? Does the world come to an end? Will the world come to an end, or is the life of the person who died that has come to an end? Life continues. People said, he died, he will come again, he will come again. How many years have passed? He will still come again. And the message keeps changing. No, he's coming very soon. Others, he's coming in 2022. That year comes, people kill each other, kill themselves, sell whatever. The pastor locks people in the church and he burns them there, takes their properties, and becomes rich, and people come or is arrested or something. Beliefs. All these questions that we ask ourselves today, all these different religions that are coming on board, every day churches being born, are looking for the truth. And the philosophers say, they ask questions, is it possible to know the truth? The fact that people are always trying to invent things, come up with new things, and they do not get to be satisfied is a reason, so a reason that we do not know the truth. Because we are always looking for satisfaction. While you are married today, you are moving on the street, you look at another beautiful woman or girl, you will start telling until you go into the ditch. Lack of satisfaction. Broken marriages and fulfilled promises, because man will never be satisfied. What is reality? Reality must be that which fulfills and completes everything and everybody. Can it be achieved? Can it be known? We keep asking questions. We start up things in order to try to find answers. So if I cannot find answers, I'll try to believe in myself that I think I can sort it out for myself. Let me start my own family. Let me start my own church. Let me start my own thing. And people will join me. I'll give my own services. Afterwards, they seem not satisfied with me. They have their own confidence. They can start up something of themselves. And confusion is continuing. Man is a dangerous thing. And that is why at a certain point, whether that is true or not, when he was trying to build the greatest tower, in trying to find out, he would have reached, but let's disturb his communication. Because no. He is too curious. So let's build. This time they would have reached there. The question is, we are trying to find out what reality is. What is the ultimate source of what we are? Why are we here? For what purpose does man live? So that when you start dealing with the exist. So anyone who raises such questions is a philosopher. Because he's trying to find the truth out of what exists and surrounds us. We keep on discovering new things every day. That is the life of a philosopher. You keep thinking and thinking. You don't give answers. You just try to give solutions to answers, but you don't give solutions. No. You have no solutions. And the nature of the philosopher is to analyze things, argue, so that your arguments could lead to a solution to a problem. In most cases, philosophers have died poor because the initial thinking was that philosophers are there to be dreamers, critical thinkers, and you just drive into that deep thinking. Think and think and think and think. Solve the problem. Nothing. Let him come up with an idea. He will come up with a very brilliant idea. Do it. Hey. I remember my father being an agriculture officer. He would make money just writing down, doing mathematics. If I plant 1,000 tomatoes, and each tree of the tomato bears 100 fruits. So 1,000 times 100. Each tomato is selling it at how much? You would make millions and millions. And then that we are rich. But that is richness where? In the mind. See? That's what a philosopher does. Critical thinking. You think beyond. But what is important in life is to act. That's how we become rich. And so we are supposed to learn the history of education, early childhood education, and bringing it here. How did it begin in Malawi? What made early childhood education to start here in Malawi, and who brought it here? So that when we are teaching these kids about the early grade, we understand where it is coming from, the challenges that they met, and where and how we can